Awesome.
Okay.
What's up, man?
Hey,
Um,
how's it going?
hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Agoraphobe here with my special guest, Eric. Can I call you Eric?
Yeah. hmm
Cool. Eric from Mountaintop 9. For a special showing of Mountaintop Motel. Also got to be known as Mountaintop Motel Massacre in '86 when they actually released it. Um, and this is the guy right here. This is Mr. Mountaintop himself, man. I brought him in so he could tell us, so he could school us on this movie, tell us everything he knows. If you haven't seen his channel, check it out. He's got Mountaintop Motel Massacre shit all over the place. Awesome movie. We're gonna check it out in a little bit. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Looking forward to
Sorry,
watching this.
sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. You was getting ready to say something when I kicked into the intro. What was that?
Oh, I was just asking where you put the volume usually. Do you turn it all the way down?
Usually, yeah, I'll turn it all the way down and then do subtitles, but
That's
it
what I
just
did
depends.
too. Yeah.
Or I'll ask and see if you can hear it. If you can
Right.
hear it, then that means everybody else can,
Yeah.
So
I just have mine turned all the way down. It's fine.
kind of sucks because I like hearing the music and shit along with it. But
Right. And the sound effects.
yeah, I've got a special thing planned for after the movie, a little 2 minute thing that I put together with the music along with some clips from it in there
Uh-huh.
that I do after the show. So
Oh, okay.
uh, Ninja in the chat, what's up, Ninja? I'm doing Mother's Day with him here in a couple of days. Just popping
Oh,
in to say
okay.
hello. You're not too big on Mother's Day, are you?
Um, I like it. It's all right. I'm just not a big fan of it. I saw you put it at number 3 or 4 in your top five of
Oh,
1985. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's I can take it or leave it that one.
yeah. Some of them usually, and I think it goes like this with everybody. With the countdowns, a lot of those go with nostalgia too. To
hmm
each for each person, a film will mean something different. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that one. Let me see. I think I went number number five was Mother's Day. Number four was Friday the 13th. Number three was Maniac. Number two was The Fog, and number one was The Shining.
And those are classics. I love the rest of those. The Shining, I'd put number 1 as well. The Fog is great. Maniac is amazing.
Oh
And
man,
Cannibal Holocaust is awesome as well. I saw you gave that a mention. I love that one as well.
it was almost in the top. I really wanted to. If it wasn't for the nostalgia of Mother's Day and The Fog, it would have definitely been up there, man.
hmm
Um, we was talking about our first viewings or whatever of Mountaintop Motel, which is what I refer to it as.
Yeah.
Um, late night Cinemax. I never did get the studio copy of it, man. But I always wanted to. I looked for it on eBay and it's expensive as fuck, man. Steele in the chat saw this at the theater around the block as a kid. Did you? Steele's a guy that I do a lot of watch alongs with, man. It's really cool.
That's
Um,
awesome that he saw it in a theater. That's great.
hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Prism in here. How you doing, Prism? Thanks for stopping by. We're gonna get going on this here in a minute. I am viewing. Oh, by the way, anybody that doesn't have this as a physical copy, it is free on Tubi and it is also on YouTube. You can go to my horror recommendation list. I got a lot of movies in there, and this is one of them. You can go there and check it out with us. If you guys are checking it out and you want to let us know whenever you're ready to start, if you're able to, let me know and we'll get the countdown going and get this going. Man, yeah, I plan on. I've got Unhinged is one that I seen. Let me see. I seen this version of it
Right. Yeah.
in a record store back when we had Musicland, Camelot, and all those, and it was in there. And I seen that where it said it'd been banned in the UK or something like that. And I
hmm
checked it out, and I got it on a blind buy and just happened to like it. That's got really cool ambiance to it.
It's got a great score, that one. Unhinged. I really like that synth score. It's really creepy. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
atmosphere is really creepy. It's good.
The and the chicks in it, man. something I think is really important in a film. They look like and act like and they come off like people you would know, people you would actually meet. To me, that's important. You know,
Right. Yeah.
if you got a movie, if you got a movie full of completely beautiful people that you've never seen these people in your life, or anybody that
Yeah.
looks like them, it just
Yeah.
doesn't feel real.
Right. And that started really a lot in the 90s, when they started making Scream and Urban Legend and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then just on from there, it's been like that for a long time now. Yeah.
I I give anything to get that '80s vibe back, man.
Hmm.
That dirty feel of Maniac and Henry, and you know what I mean, shit like
Right.
that.
But at the
Like,
same time, when they make movies now and try to have that kind of retro feeling, it just comes off fake. I don't like that either. You know,
have you seen X yet?
no. Mm-mm.
I see it's pretty good. He does a pretty decent job of recapturing some of that. Trying to think of some newer ones that actually captured that.
There was
Um,
one called The Sleeper that came out, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. Did you see that one?
yep,
It tried to have that kind of atmosphere to it, but I think every kill in that was the same way. It was with a hammer, and it kind of wasn't very inventive, but it was
right,
all right. I mean, I thought that one was okay.
right. All right, well, shit. Everybody's ready. Let me get mine going. I'll get mine to the new world here. Let's see. All right, I got the new world going right now.
Yeah.
Shit, we don't even need a countdown. We're on new world. Fuck it.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. If you know scenes come across and anything, you want to point out anything, just anything at all, man.
Did you start it?
Yep.
Okay,
It,
I got it. No problem.
right now it says Jim McCullough. Now it says Mountaintop Motel Massacre.
Okay.
The advertising guy is the one that decided to throw the massacre in there just as a just to try to pull people in.
Oh yeah, that was when New World Pictures, picked up the movie. They added the massacre at the end. I think I mean, it's a cool title,
Right.
but when I was a kid, it's the same with you. I always just referred to it as Mountaintop Motel. I never used the massacre.
Yeah. Well, and plus, the massacre kind of has it to where they was trying to throw it in to jump on the slasher bandwagon. And to me, this is not a slasher movie.
No, that's what I've been saying for years. It's not, yeah, it doesn't come across really as a slasher flick.
Mm-mm.
It's kind of the same way you would look at The Shining as a horror movie. I just think this is a horror movie.
Right. And hell, Kubrick never considered it. Never even considered The Shining a horror movie.
Yeah,
Kubrick was an odd one, man. We
yeah.
did. I did The Shining and Clockwork Orange with John Steele just here about a month and a half ago.
Hmm.
We have a lot of fun with these, man. See shit falling behind on my chat here. Let's see, by saying hello to everybody. Like to see that. That's cool. Yeah, I seen Barbarian just the other day. It's actually pretty decent. Crazy how most didn't see Mountaintop until 3 years after its initial release when it went wide release. Yeah. Something I checked into is what this Anna Chappelle did, man. And she's only done like 2 movies, and she does such an incredible job.
Yeah, she does an awesome job in this movie. The only other movie she was in, it was just a little brief. She was in it for 5 seconds, just a brief
Man,
part.
Man
This
in the
is the
Moon
only
looks
full
really good.
fledged.
Yeah, for about the first half hour of this, I remember laying with my back to the TV, laying on the couch, and it was all dark. I was trying my ass off to go to sleep. It's one of those nights where you just can't get to sleep. You
Right.
can't stop your mind from racing. And I'm hearing this in the background. I hear her talking about, Lori, you better get your cover. I'm going to chop its head off. I'm going, what the hell? I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
And I just see, listen. And then the score got me. I said, man, I got to turn around and see what the hell this is.
Yeah. Yeah. The score is really effective here in this opening. It's
Mm.
just really unsettling.
And there's a lot of things that you talked about listening to it on the headphones and everything. A
Hmm.
lot of little sounds and things going on that you don't hear if you're just watching it on. I haven't tried
Exactly.
that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, especially here in this opening part, when she's down, you know, underground and she's having her little ritual down there. You hear there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the sound.
Do you think she's trying to get it? Do you think she's trying to worship into the occult, or do you think she's trying to bring her dad back? I mean,
Um, I think she is trying to talk to her dad,
mm-hmm,
but I basically my whole idea about the movie is I think it's very demonic.
mm-hmm,
I just really think that that's what's going on. For a long time, I thought that Lori later on, when she's talking to Evelyn and you hear that voice, I used to think that that was Lori's voice. I actually thought it was her for a long time, but eventually I just started thinking, I really think that Evelyn's being fooled later on in the movie. I think that she's just hearing a demon that's basically masquerading around as Lori to trick her, to get her to kill people.
right, because
But ever since I,
she's already unstable.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's why Evelyn freaks out so bad when she goes down here and she finds her. She totally flips out, and I think it's because she senses that evil
Mm-hmm.
that Lori's conjuring up, and I
Yeah,
think that's why she flips out the way she does.
yeah.
But yeah,
I get the idea. This is definitely not the first time this has happened. And she's kind of had it with this. You know what I mean? She's terrified of it. She doesn't
yeah,
want her doing the shit. So finally, she just freaking the fuck out. She's like, I've had it with it, and she just accidentally ends up killing her.
yeah, and I think that's also the force, the power that's in the air, in the atmosphere when she goes down there, and
Mm-hmm.
that just gets inside her and pushes her over the edge. Because, like I said, if you listen to this on headphones, it almost sounds like you can hear voices saying stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really weird and unsettling. And I think that's why when I watched this as a kid, it gave me the creeps in a way that no other movies I was watching at the time did. Like I was watching Creep Show and Friday the 13th and all that kind of stuff. And none that stuff never really bothered me. It never unsettled me or anything. For some reason, this movie did. And it was the only
Mm-hmm.
movie that ever did that, really. I can't think of any other movie that actually unsettled me.
Right. It
We were talking about Unhinged earlier, and I said it's got a creepy score and everything and a creepy atmosphere, but it didn't unsettle me when I watched it.
right. Yeah, it's just it definitely captured a vibe.
Yeah.
I just wish more people. My whole thing with this film is a lot of people just haven't really. They just kind of chalk it off to another early '80s or whatever, and they just don't really give it a shot. But if they actually sit down and watch it, I think most horror fans would like it.
Right. I do too. Yeah. And for a while, it had a really bad rap in the early 2000s and late 90s on the IMDb. Reviewers on there would just get on there and trash this movie. And I
Yep.
think a lot of it was like a herd mentality. They would see other people do it and they'd get on and do the same thing without really giving the movie a chance. So I wrote a big long review on there a long time ago. And a lot of people were misled by the marketing. That New World Pictures ad with the ladies, kind of. I like that cover too. The VHS cover
Oh,
that New World Pictures did, but it kind of gives the wrong idea. It makes people think it's going to be campy, kind of
right.
like cheesy, maybe a little comedic, and it's not like that. And a lot of people sit down and watch it and they think it's boring. They don't allow themselves to get drawn into the atmosphere of it.
That's a big problem the last several years. Is people just don't have the patience. If there isn't shit happening like right away, just snap one after the other, they lose interest. It's like to me a lot of my favorites, it builds up, and then you cannot have atmosphere without the build up. You just can't. It's not instant. You're not going to build up anything.
Yeah.
Anything worth anything is, what I mean, is
Hmm.
worth it to me. It,
Yeah. Yeah, this movie takes time to establish a mood, and that's the really important thing about it. It establishes a mood, And with the score and with the set design and everything, it just really draws you in, especially like you said, with your experience, it coming on late at night and taking you by surprise. It's just
Yeah,
a real, I can just imagine that. That's just a real treat for a movie to do that.
yeah. And like I said, the next time it was on, I looked for it, and it was on the guide. The next time it was on, I stuck the VHS tape in, recorded it, and I had that copy for many years.
Yeah, it's funny. I've asked people that were involved with making this movie. I at one point, this was like 10 years ago, but I wanted that sign, the actual Mountaintop Motel sign, but all this stuff's gone now. It's all
Maybe,
gone. All the dolls and the sign, and then those cabins are all torn down. There's nothing left from the
well,
production. Now, the
because
guy that did the special effects, he still has the sickle that they used in the movie.
he was just showing it on the interview that he was doing earlier. That dude drew the pictures. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
He come up with the ending that they actually use here. You know,
yeah,
like I was telling you earlier, in every movie there's an X factor. There's somebody that's the X factor. Somebody that was that guy that does. You know what I mean? Like what I like to call him, the trash man, the one that does all the stuff that nobody ever gives credit for. You know what I mean?
right.
Like for instance, on the '96 Chicago Bulls, that was Dennis Rodman. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He did all that stuff. There's no stats for that you don't get credit for, and
Yeah.
that's what Hunter did on this movie.
Oh, I agree. The only other thing I would say is, along with him, that score that
Yes,
is just. And I always say his name. I've been trying to figure out for years because I've never heard anyone say it. But I think
Ron
it's
Ron
Ron
it's
DeLeo.
Ron well, I thought it was Ron D'Elio or something like that.
Yeah, I've been saying Ron DeLeo or Ron DeLio. I don't know, one of those ways. But regardless, his score is just amazing. And I've tried to get in contact with him before, and he's impossible to. I've sent emails to him
Right?
and never gotten a response. I just wanted to ask him questions about composing this because I'm a musician. I play music too, and I just thought it'd be interesting to hear what inspired the score because I've
Yeah.
never really heard anything quite like it. It's
No,
it's a really interesting score.
has he done anything else?
Oh yeah. Have you seen the movie Honeymoon Horror?
Yeah, but it's been a really long time ago.
Yeah, it's from 82. Around the same time, they might have even shot that movie a little bit. That movie was made before this one, I believe. But anyway, he did the score on that, and it's pretty cool. It's not as mesmerizing and evil and unsettling as this score,
Right.
but it's good. And he did a few other things as well. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought.
the special effects and production designer Drew Hunter, I was able to get a hold of him, and he sent me a copy of the original screenplay and sent me a bunch of pictures and of behind the scenes stuff and sketches that he did, all of that, which was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ron D'Elio or something like that. That's
yeah,
the best. That's the best I could do on
yeah. I
it.
just say DeLeo.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laurie's room is amazing. It's just genius, really, the way they have it set up. When he
Yeah.
looks in there and sees it here for the first time.
He really put a lot of passion into putting her stuff together and on those drawings and stuff because they look like a kid drew them.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
He seems to be a really passionate guy. He seemed to really enjoy the film and enjoy working on it.
Yeah.
See, that's extensive.
Mm-hmm.
That room is. That is just.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
He didn't just come in with a couple of things. He made sure that motherfucker was hooked up, man.
Yeah, and it
Come,
seems believable. It's not done in an over the top way where it wouldn't make sense for it to be a little girl. Like you don't see pentagrams and
right?
inverted crosses and stuff like that. It would be too obvious.
Yeah,
Instead it's obviously evil, but it's got this innocence to it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's got a really cool cluttery feel because you feel like she doesn't have a whole lot of time, or I mean she has plenty. I mean she has plenty of time to to do a lot of stuff. So she would have a lot of shit in her room. I mean
right.
she's got a lot of time on her hands out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean you don't see any other kids around there to mess with, so it's basically just her and her mom. So
Hmm.
what would she do? She would have time to set up her room and do all that shit.
Yeah.
Time to get
Yeah.
into other things that Now,
Now,
one thing I wondered about this. What's your feelings on this? Do you feel like that she would have been arrested, or I mean, her throat was slit? I mean, what do you think the legal thing is going on here at this point? I mean, there's a good chance she'd be locked up. I mean, they're
that
still investigating, but
right. Yeah, that's the biggest loophole kind of in the movie that you just, I mean, I just roll with it. I don't really think too much about it, but obviously the sheriff is suspicious of her.
but he
That's
knows
why he's
her.
lurking around her, and that's why he's visiting the hotel again here in just a few minutes. Um,
But he also knows her. You know what I mean? And doesn't want to arrest her. You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
He
But
feels
yeah,
sorry for her. She's been through a lot.
uh-huh. Now that sheriff is actually played by the director, Jim McCullough Sr. He
Really?
plays that sheriff. He's just using a pseudonym, but that's the director playing the sheriff.
Oh,
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah. And then his
See?
son wrote the movie. And throughout the production, the father and son, the McCulloughs, they would argue with each other over how much the movie should be a supernatural type movie and then, or should they concentrate more on like the killing and slasher type aspect of the film? So they kind of go back and forth.
Right. Dark Prism says they put it in the Google Translate and said it was pronounced Ron Di Lulio.
Yeah, I don't think that's an L in there though. I think that's a capital I. If there's a lowercase I and then a capital I
He said
used to
it's
think,
RONDEELOOLEO. He said that's what the Google translator said.
mm,
I don't know. That's too bad that place isn't there anymore.
oh yeah, yeah, they tore down those cabins a long time ago. Jim McCullough Jr., when I sent him an email in the early 2000s, it was probably 2003, 2004. He wrote me back and he said those cabins were long gone.
All that shit like that. There was a lot more shit like that. Like when I was a kid, I was born in '73,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to go up to this place called Hill Lake, and they had a bunch of little cabins like that you could rent for like a week and stuff. And just over the years, they just slowly, instead of keeping them up and fixing them up, they just tore them fuck down, and it
Yeah,
sucks. I hate that shit. I love that kind of shit.
yeah. Now, a lot of the people in this movie now are passed away. Bill Thurman passed away. Anna Chapel. Will Mitchell, the guy that plays the traveling salesman, he passed away recently. And then the father and son, Jim McCullough Jr. and Senior, they both passed away as well. So
I was kind of wondering the one that plays Vernon, the groom,
yeah, Greg Brazel. Yeah,
is he related to that guy that played that? Is he a brother or something to the guy that played the head EMT that came in and he said something because his voice sounds a lot like him and they favored a lot in the face.
yeah, they look alike too. I'm not sure. I never really thought about that, but you're right. They kind of look and sound similar.
Like when he talked, like I wasn't looking at it. I was checking out earlier when he talked. It sounded just his voice sounded just like him. I looked and I was like, they favor him, man. They got that
Hmm.
strawberry blondish colored mustache and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be something to check into.
Yeah, definitely. He
I
became
I,
he
I love
became
that
a
shit.
stuntman. Greg
Who?
Brazel, he became a stuntman and worked on a lot of big Hollywood productions.
I love this guy here, Crenshaw.
Yeah, yeah, he's funny.
What the hell am I paying for this room for anyhow?
Yeah. And he would have made it through the entire movie if it wasn't for Al.
Yeah.
It's Al's dumb decision later on that gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because really all they had to do was go into one room and just barricade themselves with their back against the wall in one room and
Right.
just wait until light. That's all they had to do. If she starts coming out of the fucking ground, they'd see her right there and they could
Crack him in the fucking
overpower
head.
her.
Yeah.
Just really dumb to go down after her later on.
Yeah, because that's her turf, man. You don't go into her turf where she knows every nook and fucking cranny and try to
Yeah,
catch you. I
yeah,
mean, that's her place. She's been there for years. You don't go to somebody else's turf and try to fuck with them. That's a big mistake.
right.
I don't care if she is an old woman.
Hmm. Well, she's running around down there with the sickle. I don't even think they don't have anything. I don't think they grabbed anything to use as a weapon. Or
Yeah.
I think he's got a crowbar or something later on. I think Al has some kind of crowbar or something, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because he has to pry the door back open when he goes down there.
Yeah, yeah.
When he
So I
tells her
mean,
to get in the car, when he tells her to get in the car, he pries it back open with the crowbar. Yeah.
right.
These guys strike up a pretty cool little friendship.
Yeah, I really like the characters in this movie. They seem believable.
Oh yeah, they're I love that. The characters are just like real people. Like you don't hardly see them in anything else, but they do a great job in this, and they come
Yeah,
off like people that you've met.
right. Exactly. It just seems authentic, and then the set and everything behind them. It just seems real.
Yes. Yeah, this reminds me so much of being a kid and going to that Hill Lake and getting into these cabins. And like I said, just year by year, they'd knock out two or three of them until finally, by the time I got to be 19, 20 years old, they were,
Mm.
92, 93, they were all gone, but like one. I finally got to rent one. Me and my girlfriend at the time rented one for a week. And then right after that, they tore down that last one.
Oh, okay.
Places like this, I just love old school places like this. If
Hmm.
they kept them up, they could keep. Like when she says $7, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
And she just, yeah, I'm so shocked she didn't do more because she just, I totally believe that she's bat shit out of her head, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The lighting is so good in this movie too.
Mm-hmm. It's dark yet you can see.
Oh yeah, and then those like the red lighting in certain scenes. I mean, it's perfect for the atmosphere of the movie.
Prism says Google Translate isn't very reliable, so take it with a grain of salt. Right? Exactly. The only one that can tell us exactly how it's pronounced is him, probably.
Hearing Prism, that makes me think of Blood Rage and other cool movies when I think of Prism.
Prism's with me on all my watch alongs and all my streams, man. Very low, very cool motherfucker, man.
That's cool. See, that's a very weird drawing they just showed. It's got the guy transforming into some kind of demon with horns.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
The one that gets
weird.
me is that pig, man. That pig is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because with a lot of stories and a lot of different things, they always have, a demon or an evil spirit coming through a pig.
Right. Yeah, and it's almost like the way I see it, because you got to fill in the blanks with a movie like this. So I guess Lori actually saw that and then drew it. It's almost like it appeared to her and then she
Yep.
drew it and put it up
Mm.
there.
Yeah, I would like to have got just maybe a little more of her before she got killed off because she was creepy as fuck too, man. She did a real good job.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then later on, when they show those real quick clips, later on towards the end of the
Mm.
movie, that's really creepy stuff. They could have put some more scenes like that kind of throughout the movie, just a little bit, not gone over the top with it, but
Right. Probably a budget thing too. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you know what the budget was for this, or
No, I don't remember what the exact budget was. I know I've seen it before, but I don't remember. But they had a decent enough budget that I mean, the photography on this movie, it's really a beautifully shot movie. It's very stylishly directed.
mm-hmm.
Even though it is a low budget movie for a horror movie,
Right?
I think it's really well put together.
It is. I love the red Volkswagen.
Yeah. Now that white dog, when it runs out and kind of blocks the newlyweds, there was someone that commented on one of my videos one time, and I think he might be right. I think that has some kind of significance. It's almost like that white dog was some kind of positive force, like angelic or something, almost trying to stop them from going where they end up, but they still go.
Yeah,
I think he's on to something when I read that. I do think that probably has some kind of significance.
there's several little signs like the tree falling down the way. You know what I mean? Just all this different shit. Just you know what I mean? But they keep going
Yeah,
forward anyway. You know, instead of going somewhere else, they just head there.
yeah,
Like you know, the dude with the two chicks in the car. Well, we know why he goes there. That's why he makes that decision. All the
yeah,
decisions are made. You know, some decisions are made for the wrong reasons. Now the newlyweds, you can kind of you can understand.
yeah,
He's just probably been waiting for a long time. You know,
yeah,
and he don't care where you're staying, just as long as he can. You know,
yeah.
I always thought she come off as real sweet.
That's the thing about this movie with these characters. You don't really want anything to happen to any of them.
Yeah.
You know, some slasher movies you watch and you don't care what happens to these people, but in this one it's different. They're likable.
You know, like the Friday 13th remake. There wasn't one likable character in that fucking thing.
Right? Yeah,
I couldn't wait to see all of them get killed.
yeah,
And she always looks out and see who else is in the car. You know what I mean? Seeing how many beds they want. Like for instance, when Al comes up there with the two girls and he's coming up real obnoxious. You know what I mean? He's got the
yeah.
two girls with him and he wants a single bed. She just kind of looks out and she gives him a look like you know like sinner. You know
Right, exactly. Yeah.
that look is just see he's even got creeped out over that look. He's like, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think, I imagine the light's going to be off anyway, but I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the screenplay, there are little things in there written down that aren't in the movie because like I said, the director and then the writer, the father and son, they would argue over how much of the supernatural angles should be on the screen. So there's stuff in the script that got totally left out. Just little things like when she checks someone in and then she sees the apparition of Lori
Mm-hmm.
standing in the corner, little things like that, and it's not in the movie. But so some people don't like that later on they feel like that kind of shows up out of nowhere. They don't really get it. I think that's just because you have to watch it a couple times to get stuff like that.
Yeah,
Might not get it on the first viewing.
yeah. Some films are like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got interested on my first viewing. I mean, you know, different people are different, but I've now seen it. I mean, I hate to think how many times I've seen it. You've probably seen it a lot more than I have, but I've seen it quite a few, and
Yeah.
I've liked it ever since the first time, man. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
just hearing it got me in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I turned around and see what the hell it was I was listening to.
Right.
Because there I was, a teenager, like I said, 13, 14 years old. You know, I was all badass. Yet this score was giving me goosebumps. You know,
Right. Yeah.
like I wasn't so badass after all. I was like, this is creepy. Yet I couldn't stop watching.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He comes off like a horny toad, and yet she's so sweet and wants everything to be so special. You know,
Right.
he's just like, look, man, making him wait anyway. And then right before, man, it's typical horror, man. Right before
Mhm.
it is,
Yeah.
so, sorry, dude, but you got a lot bigger problems now.
Right.
Bugs is what gets me.
He has it the worst out of anybody in the whole movie.
He actually survives pretty good considering, man. Because yeah, by the time it all comes down, he don't have the strength to fight off shit.
Oh no, I don't know. I When he's laying there powerless as she comes towards him and there's nothing he can do to stop it, I wouldn't want to be in that position.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that too much.
Yeah, because he's kind of half-ass hallucinating anyway. So he's thinking, what the hell's going on?
Right, yeah. Yeah. I'd rather be in the position of one of these other, characters. At least they have some kind of fighting chance.
Like the drunk reverend when he's talking about how God's not all up in the clouds or all this kind of stuff. He's in your heart, and he asks him. He says, "So then, where's the evil?" And he says, "I don't know. I guess the same place."
Yeah. Yeah. He says, so where's the kingdom of hell? And yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's there also.
Hmm.
Well, I like the relationship that they build up here. First time ever meeting each other, yet they hit it off real good. Two
Yeah.
completely different fellows from two completely different places, just a chance meeting.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steele says that roaches scene, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
the shit that these two believe.
I love the detail with the flashes of lightning outside the windows.
Oh yeah,
That storm is going the whole time, and that really adds to the feeling of the movie as well.
man, it doesn't feel forced. You know what I mean? It's just kind
Yeah.
of there. It's just part of the. Well, Al takes advantage of a situation.
Yeah.
Bad Al.
He's
But
so funny too. The way he rolls his eyes later when he has them auditioning.
when they go, they're like, "Oh yes, I knew it." And they hug each other. You got George Way, and he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I like
always
that.
wondered how long he sat there and listened to them rehearse. You know what I mean? How long that went on
Right. Yeah.
because he's just getting there. It's so long that he's sitting there, and I don't even think he's wearing anything. He just got the blanket covering him. You know what I mean? He's
Hmm.
been sitting there for 2 fucking hours listening to these two sing.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot worse, but I've also heard a lot better. And they think just like the comment she makes, look out, Loretta. I always
Hmm.
thought, well, I don't think Loretta's worried, but it's still kind of cute. They have a dream and they want to accomplish it, and it's just that's
Right.
what makes horror movies so fucked up. The best horror movies will take, like, for instance, you got the newlyweds, they're looking at their life together. You got these two girls, they're looking hopefully to become country music stars. This guy's right in the middle of a business. He's on his way to take care of some business. Everybody is seems to be things seem to be going okay for everybody, and then just all of a sudden, blam,
Yep. Yep.
shit hits the fan.
exactly.
That's when it's really the best, is when everything, is looking up, and then
Yeah.
she's willing and ready to jump on it to further her career right the fuck away. She doesn't give a shit.
Right. Yeah.
The other chick's like, bullshit, this motherfucker.
Now the girl who plays Tanya, she was also in another Jim McCullough produced and directed movie called Video Murders. Have you heard of that one?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it's called The Video Murders. And it's a 86 or 88, somewhere in that time period is when it came out. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not like this movie though. It's an actual low budget flick. I mean, it's real low budget. I think it might have been shot on video. I can't remember if it's shot on video or what, but it they do not have the budget on that one that they did on this, and it
Right.
showed.
Tanya's the one in the middle, right? The one that's
Yeah,
more willing to earn her. Yeah.
yeah. Virginia Luridians, that's her name.
It's far too easy. Because I mean, they're so impressed with that car and that phone in the car that I mean, you get the idea they definitely come from a place of no money. So when they see this
Right.
guy with a phone and shit in his car, they're ready to believe that he's somebody important.
Yeah, and it seems like he knows what he's doing, like he's done this before.
Yeah.
He's just real slick about it, and then the way these little asides with the eye rolling and the smug look on his face, yeah. I love that sign, the way the sign's glowing in the night sky.
Oh man. He's so excited. He's ready to get his honeymoon night going. Turns around.
Mhm.
He's excited, man. He is just ready to go.
Yeah.
What are you doing in there? Oh, where I'm at, the snake just bit him. Now I wanted to do this movie for a watch along, and I was thinking about who to do it with, and I remember that I seen you, and your passion for it was just really obvious, man. It comes right off the screen, the passion for
Mhm.
it. So I thought, man, the one person that I would want to do this with, I don't know. Let me see if I can fix that.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I saw the comment on that video, like I said, I always like getting comments on anything that has to do with this movie.
There, there's so many great ones, man, that people just don't give a second thought.
Have you seen The Redeemer?
I don't think so. I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. That's another really cool one. It's also called Class Reunion Massacre. You've probably seen the VHS cover before. But it's another really good one. Because this movie to me is more similar to a movie like that, something with that atmospheric, than it
Yes.
is Friday the 13th or Halloween. It's not like those movies.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, an atmosphere. If you got a good atmosphere, you're already halfway there.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, because that's one of the hardest things to capture in a film, man, is the atmosphere. So if you
Yeah.
can capture that,
Yeah.
I have seen filmmakers try their whole career to capture a decent atmosphere, and they just cannot seem to do it.
Right. And then you have directors like Fulci with City of the Living
Oh,
Dead and House by the Cemetery. You've got great atmosphere in those movies. And then you have the violence as well, the over the top gore.
oh yeah,
So
Fulci,
you
man.
have this killer combination in those films.
Fulci to me is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He he an Italian horror movie is a completely different experience. You don't watch a Fulci movie, you experience it.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's the way I feel about it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got there's a few of them. Don't Torture a Duckling, New York Ripper. Those are ones that are never talked about, but those are great too.
Oh yeah, I really like New York Ripper. I love that one.
Black Cat, man. That cat is a motherfucker. It turns knobs and shit. That motherfucker's gonna get you.
Hmm.
That one is definitely one that is underrated in Fulci's catalog.
I like Touch of Death as well. That's a real good one if you've seen that. And everyone talks about The Beyond, but I actually like City of the Living Dead better than that one.
It's Leon's got a couple of really good classic Fulci type scenes,
Oh
but
yeah, it does.
but to me it's got a lot more. It's surrounded with a lot more of the weirdness than it is the actual gore.
Hmm. Yeah,
Leon's really strange.
yeah.
um, my absolute favorite from Fulci, I would have to say, is House by the Cemetery.
Mine too. If I had to pick as number one, that's what I'd put as number one, House by Cemetery. It was the first one I ever saw
Yeah,
of him. I rented it from a Blockbuster when I was like 8 years old. And it was
yeah,
so unlike any. It was kind of like this movie, how this movie was unlike anything I'd ever seen. House by the Cemetery was similar, but in a different way. It was because of how violent it was.
oh hell
Just
yeah,
the way the gore was shot and everything. It wasn't like a Friday the 13th movie or something that I was used to at the time. It was more brutal.
it's a whole other level.
Yeah, I mean, Fulci would do those scenes where someone's throat is getting cut and it's just done in such a way where the camera just fixates on it.
Right.
The way the blood's pouring out, the camera just fixates on it and it just lingers there. So, I mean, I'd never seen anything like that until I saw House by the Cemetery.
Yeah, like I love zombie. Don't get me wrong, but there's some others out there that I think like for instance, Burial Ground, Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, or Living Dead at Manchester Morgue.
Yeah,
Those are all really damn good too, man. And they'll
Let Sleeping Corpses Lie is really good because it has that great setting. I love the gloomy setting in that movie. That countryside. I mean, that movie really draws you in. I really like that one.
it's very unique. That's another one that I'm looking forward to doing, man. I've got a whole list of these that that I've been. I don't know if you've seen it, but I call the Forgotten Horror Archive, and
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking to. I've already done quite a few, but I'm going to get even deeper.
Yeah.
I want to do uh, Bob Clark's first one. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Yeah.
All that shit, man. Because I'm a fan of Alan Ormsby.
Oh yeah. Boy, they were on a roll with Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things and Death Dream, and then Bob Clark did, Black Christmas after that.
Oh,
They
Black
were really
Christmas.
on they were on to something with those movies. And Deranged, Jeff Gillen and Alan Ormsby did that one, and those are classics. I love those movies.
Deranged, the very first actual depiction of the Ed Gein story,
Yeah. Yeah.
done by I can't remember the guy that plays him, but he's also in Escape from Alcatraz and a bunch of other movies. I can't remember his fucking name.
Oh yeah, Robert's Blossom.
Yes.
He's in Christine as well, and
Yeah.
Home
Yep.
Alone. He's in.
Yeah. I'm going to do Christine. As a matter of fact, I forgot that he played the brother of the guy that owned Christine. Yeah.
Right.
Because remember in Escape from Alcatraz, he's the painter. He's the one that chops off all of his fingers and shit.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever seen that, but
It's been a long time since I saw that one.
Rat. She's got something for each room, man.
Oh yeah.
These are some serious rats.
One thing that's really cool about this movie that makes it feel otherworldly, like like something's just off, is the way the score kind of has this UFO type sound. It's spacey. There's some
Yeah,
spacey sounds going on when she's roaming around underground for some reason. This is what I'm saying why I wanted to ask the composer about what inspired him, because there's spacey stuff going on in the soundtrack. It's weird.
yeah, it makes you wonder because some composers will just go ahead, they'll see the screenplay and then they'll make they'll compose it, and then others will actually watch the movie and compose, you know what I mean, from actually watching the scenes. That's the
Yeah,
ones that tend to be better.
right. To me, it feels like the composer actually saw the film first, like a rough cut of the film, and then made a score. It really feels that way to me.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think he, I just don't think he could have crafted it the way he did had he not seen, a rough cut of this movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it feels like the score complements what's going on screen.
Yeah.
And
I think he had it over here and was checking it out and made it. Yeah. You have to,
yeah,
they work differently, but yeah, I think this one was made like that. That or
you
it was
know,
just one hell of a coincidence.
right. It makes me think of John Carpenter with Halloween. He had the movie finished, and he didn't feel real impressed by it, but once he put the score to it, it just made the movie, took it up several notches, just transformed the film. That's
Oh
how
yeah.
this movie is. I can't imagine it not having that score.
Well, no way.
If you put a generic, Harry Manfredini type score in this movie, oh my God, it would totally change it. It would destroy the movie, in my opinion. It would destroy it. If you just had generic like violins screeching and stuff like it, just wouldn't work the same way.
Right. Well, yeah, the thing about Manfredini is if you watch some of his other movies, like he did, like The Hills Have Eyes too, it
Mm,
sounds just like the Friday 13th music.
yeah. And he did the score for House, is another movie. I really like that one. You've probably seen House.
Yeah, with a cat in it. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. And anyway, Manfredini, he just recycles a lot of tropes, a lot of things that he does, he carries from movie to movie. And it just kind of gets annoying. Whereas, like I was mentioning with John Carpenter, I know he always does the piano and synthesizer stuff, but at least he's coming up with unique melodies. Like when you listen to The Fog, it
Oh man.
sounds totally different than Halloween. When you listen to Escape from New York, he comes up with these really cool melody lines with what he does. So you feel like each score is different.
Even Assault on Precinct 13, that's got a damn good score too, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's got really cool. It's just got its stamp on it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that's one of the best things about Carpenter, in my opinion. Early on was his scores.
Yeah.
um, Christine's got a pretty good one with it too, actually.
I think so too. It has this really kind of sad quality to it, I think.
Prism says, I think Inferno by Argento is criminally underrated. Yeah, part two of the Mother trilogy. Yeah.
Mm.
What's your feelings on Argento?
Um, it's hit and miss. I really like some of his movies and others I don't care for. My favorite is probably Tenebrae and Phenomena. Those two are my favorites, if I had to just pick two.
Phenomena is my favorite from him. Yeah, and Tenebrae is really cool too.
Yeah.
Um, um I like some of his earlier stuff too. Cat of Nine Tails has got a really interesting story to it. With Carl Malden and the little girl. He's
Hmm.
blind yet he's raising this little girl. It's got a pretty cool feel.
Yeah.
um, Suspiria is not my favorite. I appreciate Suspiria for what it is. It's got great vision.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
That's the thing about Argento is it's his visuals. But
Oh
if you
yeah.
but if you put him beside Fulci, to me, there's no comparison. It's Fulci all day.
Yeah, same here. I just feel like Fulci's movies are more horrific, whereas Argento, it's a little bit more artsy, you know.
I got more of a rewatchability.
Yeah. Like Fulci's just more gritty. His movies, you know, kind of
Yeah.
like this movie, you know, this movie's more just has this gritty feel to it.
Oh, definitely. To me, that's the mark of how much I like a film too, man. Is if I feel like watching it more than once. I mean, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? If it's something I watch once and I go, yeah, I'll probably watch it again sometime. That's cool. But if it's something that I know, you know what I mean, or I have watched over and over and over again, to me that makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rewatchability factor is important. The roaches, man. Oh my god. I, I
Yeah.
I I hate to hammer that in, but those are some big nasty roaches.
And this is a great shot. You know, when she comes out of this room here, the way the camera turns, that's just really, that's a great shot right there.
What's up with the makeup? I wonder.
Yeah, I know. Because
Yeah.
it's only like that in this scene. It's weird. I don't know, because later on she doesn't have it on like that. There's something about that. Well, you know, that scene she really hasn't. You know, eventually in this movie, it gets to the point where it's ratcheted up, where the demon voice is actually telling her, you know, she needs to go ahead and kill these people. Enough
Right.
with releasing the vermin in their rooms, and she actually picks up the sickle. That's the real turning point.
Yeah.
But that scene that they just showed there, where she's in Laurie's room and she's getting the roaches in the bag, I think that's just to show how like crazy she is.
Yeah.
It,
That
you know,
that really shows her unhinged point. The fact that she stopped long enough to put some makeup on first. You know what I
right?
mean? That
Yeah,
adds to the creep factor for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Um, she's just become completely unhinged. At first, she just wanted to fuck with him. She wants to torment him. She wants to play with her prey. And after she plays, kind of like Michael Myers, she plays with him, watches him, checks him out first, and then
Yeah,
she decides it's time to kill him.
yeah.
Like it's weird. This little old lady to me is scarier than most of the horror icons out there.
Yeah, I think that's just because of the way it comes off like it could happen in real life, because
Right.
this just seems like your average, you know, crazy person. It's not a, you know, with Michael Myers and Jason, you know, it just doesn't seem real. That seems more fake. So
And, and I love how she uses everything to her advantage. The tunnels beneath there. Um,
yeah.
it makes me wonder if the Friday 13th remake didn't steal that idea.
Oh, I know. And then there's that movie called Vacancy. It definitely stole the idea.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, they stole the whole underground, you know, coming up through the trap doors into the rooms. And you know, there's another movie called and this is a really good movie. Have you seen Identity with Ray Liotta's in it and John Cusack? That movie? Boy, that movie really had a, I mean, I don't think it's as creepy and as unsettling as this movie or anything, but there were things in Identity that reminded me of Mountaintop Motel, just the nonstop rainfall and the way you almost feel like there's something supernatural going on throughout the movie.
Yeah, that's one of those. The first time you see it, I love the fact where you don't know what the hell's going on, and you're constantly wondering, you're constantly trying to
Yeah,
figure it out. The first time
yeah,
you see that, it's really cool.
yeah. And people are getting picked off, you know, one after another, and you know that reminded me of this movie as well.
Was you let down by the ending of Identity? Was you let down by it, or was you
Yeah,
okay?
the first time I saw it, I was. Yeah, that was, I thought it was a shame that all of those characters were just in his head,
Yeah,
because they were so well, you know, some of those characters were really well fleshed out. So it was a shame to find out that they were just figments of that guy's imagination, just,
yeah.
you know, multiple personalities or whatever it was in that movie. But yeah, this scene where she picks up the sickle and
Hmm.
she's looking out there. That was the last shot they did for the movie during the original shooting schedule. that was the last bit of film they had when they shot that scene.
Huh.
Yeah. That's such a great shot. It's like I said, it's a turning point in the movie. It's really a crucial part because now's when things get serious for all these characters.
Yeah, shit's hitting the fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prison says I think Argento is a lot better Fulci, but I've also not seen many movies from either. Definitely check into the Fulci catalog, Prism, man. Um, I'm going to be doing watch along, like I say, on New York Ripper, Black Cat. Don't Torture a Duckling. That's one that's not talked about much. It's one of his oldest. I think it might be. It's his second actual horror film because he did a lot of westerns back in the day. But his first one is Lizard in a Woman's Skin, I do believe, and then his second one was Don't Torture a Duck. But check
Mm.
that one out. Check out Fulci's catalog for sure. Yeah. Right, Nashville producer, vocal coach. You guys could be on the cover of our next major album.
Yeah, I like how he makes it sound believable.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's
He
definitely
doesn't
full of
say you
shit.
guys sound phenomenal. It's just that you guys are amazingly talented. Instead, he kind of keeps it a little bit down to earth to kind of make it believable.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, you guys need some work, but
Yeah.
yeah. And as soon as they hugged, he looked at the side like, "Oh my god!"
Mhm.
And now the cousin's getting the idea. See, he fucks up here. He gets a little cocky here,
Yeah.
when he says, "Oh,
Right.
was this gonna be a solo album?" And
Yeah.
that's when she knows. That's when she's like, "Fuck this! I don't think so.
Right.
This motherfucker's playing." And her cousin's not quite as bright as she is.
Hmm.
She well that or she just sees stars. She just wants it so badly. She just don't give a shit.
Yeah. She says to her when they're both in the bathroom, she says, if he isn't, he isn't. But if he is, she's like, I'm just
It's a
going to take a
possibility.
chance.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up how she tells her cousin, "Hey, with or without you." It's like, oh,
Right.
he's listening here. This fucker's like a teenage guy.
Hmm.
He's playing his game. That car, especially back at this time in the early '80s, with a car like that with a phone in it, with him wearing the clothes he was wearing, he could
Yeah.
definitely play off like he was somebody important.
Right. Yeah.
I think he's got a good job. He does a good, but it's nothing to the level that he makes it sound like.
Right.
Like Capitol Records, that's my baby. Badass hair on this chick though, man.
I like looking at all the drawings that are scattered around all the different cabins.
Yeah, yeah. She has him in the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have killed to have that chick's hair. She's got some badass long hair. And she has this different reaction to each person. Like for instance, I won't get ahead of myself. In case anybody that hasn't seen it, is watching. But like later on, she shows different emotions when you know what I mean.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
some she enjoys doing or doesn't mind doing. Others she feels like she's compelled and has to. It's just really odd.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems like she's kind of, I don't know, troubled by what she's done or remorseful. But later on in the movie, she just looks full blown, possessed. She's very evil looking. It looks like she's enjoying what she's doing later on.
The preacher's the one where you really get some emotion from.
Yeah, it looks like that's the
She's
one where it looks like she's remorseful about what she's done.
she likes him. She knows him. You know what I mean? Plus, he's a man of
Yeah.
God. And she's religious. I do believe that they're
Oh
I
yeah.
was a religious household.
Yeah.
does it ever say what happened to the dad in the screenplay
No,
or anything?
nope, not even in the screenplay does it say. So you're left just to wonder. Yeah, they don't tell you.
I don't think he's been dead too long either. Really, the idea I get.
Right. I don't think so. I think, and Evelyn might have killed him. That might have been why she was locked up in an asylum. It might be because she killed him or something.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Right. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah.
That's what I've always thought. I just figured she probably killed him.
That or the whole stress of the situation and her flipping out and him dealing with all that and then having to, the daughter was a lot, she was younger then, having to deal with that. Maybe the stress got to him. He wasn't a real heavy guy, but you could tell he wasn't in the greatest shape either. He might have had a heart problem. I mean, there's lots of things could happen.
Yeah.
Stress situation might have got to him,
Right.
had a attack or something. It's kind of cool to leave little things like that out though for the imagination of the fan to just kind of think about.
I think so too. Yeah.
Leave that little opening for us to discuss and theorize.
Hmm.
Because if there's nothing to discuss and theorize, it's not nearly as interesting.
Right, exactly. That's what I think is fun about this movie. One of the things I've thought about is, trying to wonder how the Laurie character even started with all the stuff down in the cellar and, these rituals and things like that. And one of the things that starting to think, I'm starting to draw parallels to The Shining. You know how where the Overlook is, it's just inherently evil,
Right.
in Kubrick's film. And it just seems like in this movie, in Mountaintop Motel, it's the same thing. Like there was something already inherently evil about where they were at. I like to think about things like that and try to fill in because even in the screenplay, that you never learn why. How did this whole thing start with Laurie, where
Right.
she's summoning, evil spirits and whatnot? There's nothing in there that tells you how that began.
Yeah. And you got flashes, like I said, I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but like Flash at the end with the three of them. You know what I mean? I'll just leave it at that so that I'm not telling too much.
Oh,
The flash of the three of them standing there as they're driving away.
oh well, it doesn't show that in this. They never did put that in the film. They only show.
Right.
Well,
Right.
you'll see later. Yeah,
Well,
but
well, I see it in the behind the scenes stuff. It's
yeah,
supposed to be there. They just decided not to.
yeah, yeah.
It's like they were struggling to decide whether they wanted to go with more of the supernatural or not. It's like they were pulling and tugging. They couldn't decide.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, and I see parallels between in The Shining also with the twin girls and and the Laurie character. It's just similar to me.
Right. I got a pretty cool photo of them, signed photo with where both of them signed it of those two. It's pretty cool.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, I seen that at 7 or 8 years old when it first hit HBO in '81. It was made in '80, so it probably hit HBO by '81. So I was about 8. It was interesting to see at 8 years old, The Shining was.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I saw it when I was in that age, probably even younger.
Of course, I didn't know what the hell was happening. You know what I mean? That movie was a complete mystery. I mean, I kind of got it, but at the same time, I was like, what the hell? Especially when animals and shit are popping up. You
That's the
know,
kind of movie you're not going to get. Yeah, you're not going to begin to understand it until you get a little older.
I kind of got the idea, like in the room when at the end when shit's hitting the fan.
This scene scared me, where
Yeah.
when she puts that sickle in his right into him here. I thought this was pretty shocking when I was a little kid.
See, there she is. There's some actual remorse. I mean, that actually caused her
Yeah,
some pain doing that.
right. Yeah.
That's the only one she shows that on.
I also think, like I said, later on in the movie, she seems totally overcome. Like I think she's totally possessed later on in the movie.
Yeah.
There's something else I'll point out later on towards the end that I think, but I'll wait till it happens.
All right.
It involves her. the Tanya character. She does have really long hair, doesn't she?
Not badass hair, man. It's really nice hair. Kind
Yeah.
of thick. It's probably a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
it's some very cool hair. And coming from the age I came from, you know what I mean? Grow up as a
Yeah.
teenager, 80s, hair was a
Mhm.
big fucking thing, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we were all some headbanging, heavy metal rocking motherfuckers.
Yeah.
At least my group was.
Hmm.
Hair was a big deal. The 80s was great to be a teenager in, man.
Hmm.
Makes me feel really old now, but
Yeah.
I had a good time, damn it. Man, this poor guy, man, he was looking forward. This is like the night of his life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Man, that that makeup looks pretty sick too, man. That looks pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Pretty good job. Because I mean, you can't see any lines where the prosthetic is or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty grotesque.
They did a good job on it.
Uh-huh.
You got sickle through the face too.
I like the POV shot, the way it's blurry when he's looking up at his wife.
Cool little details.
Yeah.
Details are important. Little things you don't really think about until you see them.
Hmm.
I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm gonna use my $7 to take one last shit, and I'm getting the fuck out.
There's a little demon pig or something in the drawing right behind him. I think that's a goat up there in the corner behind him.
Yeah, would have been cool to have had him reference some of these drawings. You know what I mean? Because the drawings were in every room. You know, like he was saying, even in the office. It would have been
Right.
for them to talk about it and go, "Damn, check out this drawing." You know?
Yeah, and they do one time, Prissy, in that scene earlier when they're kind of getting warmed up right before he gives them a drink, she says, I wonder who Lori is. And then the
Yeah,
camera like pans down and shows this drawing of a rose. And so they do one time. And I think a lot of people miss that the first time they watch this movie, they miss little details like that because then when her character shows up later in the movie, I've listened to these podcast reviews that people do of this movie and the IMDb reviews. They totally miss all of that stuff
yeah.
because in the end, when they act like it comes out of nowhere.
Makes you wonder if they actually watched it, actually experienced it and paid attention to it. You know?
That's what I feel like. I feel like these were people, they're not paying attention. I watched this movie one time at a friend's house. I had already seen it, of course, and I rented it to watch at a friend's birthday party. We were like 12 years old, and I put this movie on, and he fell asleep like after 20 minutes, just fell asleep, and I just watched the whole thing by myself again. And we had watched something else before this. He stayed awake through the whole thing, watched it, but with this movie, he fell asleep. I'm like, well, it's your loss. You're missing out. I think a lot of people do. I don't know what it is they're expecting when you put them. It's like we said earlier with the title. I think they're expecting something really super intense, like in a violent way from the very start. You know?
Yeah, I think they're looking for because especially with the massacre on it, they're
Yeah.
expecting a super party massacre or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
They're expecting a bunch of teenagers being chopped up by some psychotic dude. You know what I mean? Just
Exactly. And then they're disappointed when they don't get that. But then on the other hand, you have people that I've seen lately, you know, where people really like it. It's
Yeah,
like certain people are looking at it in a different light now. They're going in watching it in a different light.
I've been talking about it for a couple of months, and a couple of the people, that I do shows with and stuff. A couple of them, like this one girl named Katie. She does a show called Popping the Popcorn.
Mm.
She gave it a chance, watched it, and liked it.
Yeah. See, some people do. It just depends.
So I'm getting the word out there.
Yeah.
I got a couple of new fans at least.
Yeah. This place is starting to get to that character, to Tanya. I think just there's something, I'll tell you more about it when they show her later on in the movie, but it's starting to get to her in a way that it's not to them. They're just trying to survive.
Yeah,
Al and Crenshaw, they're just trying to survive. The place isn't getting to them the way it is to her.
yeah.
It's like she's sensing something else. I don't
That
think it's
reminds
just,
me of something at the very end. At the very end, when they're sitting in the car,
yeah,
with the dark underneath the eyes. That's funny that you say that because yeah,
yeah.
she's hysterical. See, she just it's almost as if she just like right there. It's almost as if she's seen something.
Yeah, he snaps her out of it there for a minute when he came over and grabbed her. He
Uh huh.
snapped her out of this thing, this trance like state that she's going into. And yeah, yeah, but
Before
I'll tell you what I think about that later on when it gets to the end.
you notice, before she shut the bathroom door, she was like, it just all of a sudden she was like, and then she got up and shut that door. I'm not sure what she's seen or what happened there, but
Right. And there's something weird later with the sheriff towards the very end. It's just little things like that when they look back at something, or you think
mm-hmm.
they're seeing something that you're not. It's creepy little touches. This is the perfect movie to watch after midnight, or to see at 2 a.m. It really is.
12/23, man. Happy Halloween, man. I appreciate you spending Halloween coming in with me. 12/23, officially Halloween.
Yep. Have you seen Killer Party?
Yes, I have it right over here. Yep.
Do you like that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. I do too. That movie really takes a turn at the very end.
I've got when the movie's over, I got two or three different stacks of films here. If you got time, that I was kind of wanting to discuss, unless you want to jump right on.
Okay.
Up to you.
Okay. This scene here where they go into Laurie's room, it's another really important part of the movie.
I have to block you again. I got a bot. You're blocked, motherfucker. Get out of here. Sex site tried to jump on there and tried to troll my stream.
I love this scene, the way the flashlight, goes around the room, revealing little details here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they went in and checked out the room and all this.
Yeah.
Because it really gives them a look inside the mind.
Hmm.
I mean, they're just like whoa, because she had been going into this dark place for a while. Lori had.
Yeah. 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 It's just really sinister. It just is a really sinister touch, that scene.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell that wasn't done in a week, man. That's been done over a lot of time,
Yeah. Hmm.
which probably didn't help her mom's mental state,
No.
which led to her finally just losing it and freaking out when she seen her down there doing that seance.
Yeah.
She just finally was just like, "Damn, I've had it." Try to keep you away
Hmm.
from this. Just she was trying to chop up all the shit. She just ended up chopping her too.
Yep. Yep.
This is one I hope nobody ever gets the crazy idea to try to remake. It wouldn't surprise me. Everybody's remake crazy these days because they can't come up with an original idea anymore. So let's just remake all the old movies.
Right. No, I don't think anyone would ever remake this movie.
Never can tell. They seem to want to fuck with the ones that you know what I mean, that aren't known as well sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Or they'll take a title, like for instance, we were talking about Unhinged earlier. They made another movie with that title, Unhinged. I don't even know if it. I didn't bother watching it because I
I
put it
watched
on one time and watched about 5 minutes of it and had to shut it off
it. It was a
because.
loose, very loose remake, but you could tell that it was that they had. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but I watched it once. If that tells you anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put it on once and watched it for 5 minutes and I shut it off. So I don't really. It just didn't look good to me.
No,
I don't like the way these movies look nowadays. The way horror movies look for the most part, they have a certain look to them that I just don't like.
yeah. They need to go back and you know what I mean. Well, everything is done digital now. They need to go back to some 35 millimeter. You know what I mean? Some shit like that.
Or 16 millimeter, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah,
This poor girl. Yeah, they come in and check and make sure everything's okay and hammer the door shut. You know, nail it shut. But didn't check to make sure that somebody wasn't already up in a corner somewhere.
right. Yeah, she
So
must have been hiding in the shower.
that or just you know what I mean. She's squeezing a corner somewhere. You know, this is her place, man. There's no telling what little crannies she's got in there.
Absolutely. I actually think this is probably the scariest scene to me.
Uh,
I just
yes.
think it's the scariest scene in the movie.
For this girl here, I mean, she's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Vernon can't even get up off the bed.
No, he's totally powerless. There's nothing he can do.
He's dying slowly.
Yeah. And then you see his
Uh,
eyes widen in shock there when he sees what's happening.
I like the way she just slowly just looks over at him.
Yeah. And she's really enjoying this now. She's just pure evil the way she's glaring at him. And then
Aren't you?
she's taunting him too.
Yeah. Aren't you a mess?
Yeah. He tries to fight her off, but he can't.
He's been laying there for God,
Yeah.
who knows how long, just suffering from. I mean, he got bit straight in the face,
Yeah.
so it didn't take long to start fucking with his brain.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised he's still alive at this point.
Right. Yeah.
But you guys did a bang up job of protecting the newlyweds.
Right.
This is when they figure, hey, we just got to go down and try to take care of it, rather
Yeah.
than in the car driving to where the tree is, hopping over that tree and running down the fucking road and getting the hell out of it.
Right. Or they
I
could have
said,
just went into a room and backed, like I said, just stayed together in one room and kept watch. If she comes up, they can get the jump on her and attack her as soon as she starts coming up one of the trap doors.
as soon as she pokes her head up, man, crack it with one of them fucking hammers or something, or with that crowbar.
That's all you'd have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But they just, yeah. I mean, these two almost develop Tanya now. They almost develop like a. It's almost like a relationship here because I think they've already had sex. It led to that idea. They've already messed around. They did more than what it showed us. Um, and you know, she before he goes down there, she gives him this kiss. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of cool. How
Yeah.
she actually kind of likes him, I think, even though He was kind of a snake about the way he did shit.
Right.
There's much more important things at hand.
This happens a lot in horror movies, it seems like, where characters, the situation causes them to form a stronger bond.
Oh
So,
yeah. But he's all she's got, man. He's her
yeah,
knight in shining armor.
right.
Because she doesn't strike me as a fighting type. Like I don't see Final Girl written on her at all.
No,
You're not going to see any Your Next from her.
no. That doesn't even, yeah, this movie doesn't even have those type of rules.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She you know even though she is younger, I mean, you got to remember Evelyn's crazy, and the crazy just tend to be stronger and just meaner. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She wouldn't stand much of a chance. She does a pretty good job of being very distraught.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something else that I've heard about this movie. With IMDb or whatever talks about it. Poor acting and this and that. And
Yeah, they
how
say
can
that.
you see this and say poor acting?
I don't know either. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, the sheriff comes off a little wooden at times, but some people in real life are just kind of like that. They're very stoic, and so even that, I don't think you can really label it bad acting. It's just,
Oh yeah,
but yeah, everybody does a good job in this movie, I think.
I've seen much worse and much higher budget.
That well, and the thing also is, think about all of the horror movies that are just bottom of the barrel, no budget horror movies out there that are just grade Z schlock type stuff. And when people say that this movie, you get on IMDb and you'd see people writing reviews saying that this is the worst horror movie they ever saw.
Yeah,
And it's, if someone said that, then they haven't seen very many horror films in general. They must have randomly saw this, but
true.
they really don't have a vast knowledge of the genre if they think this is the worst movie they ever saw. There's so much trash out there. This is a
Oh,
very well, even if you don't like the content of the movie, you can still look at it. If you've watched enough other horror, you can still look at it and just on the surface say, wow, this is a really well shot movie. The lighting's done well. The shots are composed in a really good way. It's just really well put together. Even if you don't like the movie, you can at least say that if you're being
yeah,
fair.
yeah, and the story, especially for the time that it was made, was very originally done. There was nothing else like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and that's why it's judged like it is without people even seeing it. They just assume it's a Slumber Party Massacre because of the
Mhm.
time it was made. That's what was being made.
Yeah.
So they just assume they just put it right in that category, and it's nothing like those movies.
Yeah, or people would try to compare it to the Psycho movies. It's nothing like Psycho. I don't think it is. I mean, on the surface, you have someone that's insane operating a motel, but other than that, it's completely different.
Night and
It's
day.
they're nothing alike, so you can't compare it to that. And obviously, you can't compare it to Motel Hell. That's a totally different type of movie.
To me, I mean, not that Motel Hell is not fun, but to me, Motel Hell is almost like a missed opportunity somehow. It just feels that way to me somehow.
Yeah, there are things about that movie I like, and there are things about it I don't. It's I'm kind of, yeah.
There was opportunity for a little better,
Yeah.
like the one-liners, like I always use fresh meat or whatever it is he says.
Mm.
It's like those one-liners for some reason in movies it just bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'm being anal, but that it irritates me.
Hmm.
You do without all the one-liners.
Yeah.
Once one movie did that, everybody did it.
Oh yeah.
I first one I ever seen one liner like that in was maybe Terminator, which she said, "You're terminated, fucker," and she hits a button and smashes him in the
Right.
first movie. After that, everybody wanted to whip out a Sarah Connor one liner.
Yeah.
Oh, Crenshaw, he didn't like that sound. See, they went down there in her domain, man. She could be anywhere down there.
Right. Yeah.
Bad decision. Yeah, bad decision. You don't go into a situation like this into someone else's domain.
No. Yeah, that was definitely stupid.
She knows that. I mean, she's been there for years. That's her place.
Right. Yeah.
Help us, please do something. Was
Yeah, I
who?
think it's funny that she was so afraid that rather than stay in that room, she actually has more room in there to move about, but she wanted out of that room so bad she went out and locked herself in the car.
Yeah, yeah. And he told her, hey, if I'm not in 5 minutes, go ahead and take off, drive into the woods,
Yeah.
whatever. She still didn't leave him at least, which was kind of cool.
Hmm.
See, the sheriff's not surprised at all. The sheriff's like, "Is it Evelyn?"
Right. Yeah, he already knows. Yeah.
I think Dave was mere days away from making an arrest on her,
Yeah, most likely.
even though he didn't want to, because I think he grew up, you know what I mean, as a kid knowing her. I think he's like known her his whole life.
Yeah.
He didn't want to arrest her. He didn't want to believe that, he made a big mistake because if he had, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
He's responsible. That son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your fault.
Well, you had the Reverend when he was in there trying to question her in the background saying, "Don't you think she's been through enough, Sheriff? She
Yeah,
can't really deal with any questions right now."
yeah. It
That
was all too personal for him. They'd known her too long because she
Yeah.
always been a sweet old lady. They'd known her for their whole life.
Hmm.
That's why, this kind of situation, you got to kind of leave the personal out. But this is a small knit area. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They all grew up knowing each other. Everybody knows everything about everybody.
Yeah.
So you look at it from that point of view, and you could see where, they'd be like, well, yeah, let's give her a few days at least before we start playing
Yeah.
with her. Lost her husband. She's had problems anyway. Now she's lost her daughter.
He probably didn't even think that she would go completely off the deep end so quickly.
Yeah,
So,
because yeah, it just snapped. I mean, all these
that's why
people.
he thought he had time that he'd be able to bust her before something like this would happen.
Because I don't think this happens very often where all these rooms get taken up like this in one night. It's just one of those things that happen
Yeah, it was a freak occurrence. Yeah.
because of the storm and the tree. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So this was the original ending. He comes down there, and she comes at him, and he shoots her.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of agree with Drew Hunter that is kind of anticlimactic.
Right. It's just really, yeah, not much to it. It's not a flashy ending. That's for sure.
The only thing that saves the sheriff's ass here is the fact that those are low ceilings, and she gets a sickle caught on that.
Hmm.
Otherwise, his ass was dead. Or
Yeah.
is that pig? That pig is fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
That's a creepy ass drawing.
Well, I think that's what's driving all of this.
Lori with two R's. That's unusual.
Yeah. That's another unique thing about the movie. It's a weird way, a different way of spelling the name. It's uncommon. You don't see that too often.
You either see
It
one R or you see the Laurie.
or the LO. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or LORIE, which is I think how they put it in the credits to this movie.
Huh?
They spell it a different way in the credits than what it is throughout the film,
Huh?
which is silly. I mean, they should have made sure they spelled it the same way.
But it was probably that way in the screenplay. But when Drew Hunter wrote all the stuff there. He wrote it like that. And they just said, "Fuck it."
That's a possibility, maybe.
You know, he's not enjoying this. He's thinking, "Oh, this sucks, man. It's dark down here. I don't know where she could be." Plus, she just went inside that little door inside that little place that you couldn't even tell was a door.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a secret chamber that she went into.
Yeah, be cool to have all that space underneath there to fuck around in, though, man. I could do all kinds of shit down
Yeah. Yeah. Here's where you see those brief glimpses.
there. It's
Those
all
quick,
really hitting her, yeah.
there's those quick cuts there. And that reminds me of The Exorcist, the way they
Mm-hmm.
do that.
I think the way the whole situation is really hitting her. She was looking at all the pictures and she was just like going, "What the hell do I do? Well,
Hmm.
what am I doing? What do I do? What's
Right.
going on?" She goes in and out, but yeah, at this point, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
She's more out than in
Hmm.
because now she's just trying to kill anybody and everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're lucky, man. You're lucky that fucker was caught there. That was gonna be right in the side of your head. He's still got a feeling for it. He's still got sympathy for it. He doesn't want to. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to lose.
He thinks she's pathetic.
Yeah, feels. Yeah, he feels for her. He
Hmm.
he doesn't want to hurt her. He just wants to restrain her and keep her from killing him. But damn, dude,
Yeah. She's
finally he just has to slap the shit out of her. It's like, all right, enough.
right. This ending right here, this whole scuffle was actually shot 3 years later, right when they went back in and added this. That's why the actress Anna Chapel, she's gained weight. You can obviously see she's heavier here.
Right.
That's because it was actually shot 2 or 3 years after the original shooting of the movie.
So this is actually 86 footage versus 83 footage.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Because you'll notice, I mean, she was weighed more here.
Yeah. We got some odd makeup going on with her too. That looks pretty creepy too.
Hmm.
The dark around the eyes is something that's kind of a theme in here too. Even with the Tanya character, the dark around the eyes.
Right. What? Yeah. I think when they're pulling out there, when they're leaving, I think she's possessed. I think
Something, yeah.
that's I think that's why she looks that way. And it's almost funny they could have made a continuation of this film and picked up the story with her being possessed.
Right.
You know what I mean? They could have just made like the next day like some kind of sequel to this where they followed it up and you see what happens with her after she leaves the motel.
Oh yeah.
And they could have made a whole nother horror movie based on that.
Yeah, because she developed some dark ass eyes. By the time she's sitting between them and they leave, her eyes are black as fuck.
Right, exactly. And so that's the only thing I can take from it is she's possessed. And you notice the sheriff like taking a peek around his shoulder before he closes that door when they're leaving. You feel like he's doing that because he senses a presence there.
Mm-hmm. Now, now this is about the time that in the scenes they didn't put in there is when the three of them were standing there together, right?
I'm guessing that's where they would have had that. Ultimately, of course, they end up just using these shots of the Lori apparition out there,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is cool. I like that better anyway. Ultimately, I think that that's creepier than having all three of them like in that photograph. I don't know that
Mhm.
that would have came off as creepy. You know, you look at the dad. I don't know if that might have come off cheesy had they kept that shot in. So I don't know.
Maybe.
It's more vague this way. I like it that it's kind of vague.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want everything explained to you. Yeah, see, look at that. She's pasty. She looks a lot like her there.
Oh yeah, I think that's because she's possessed. I not and like I said, I don't even think that that's the spirit of the little girl. I think that's a demon, and it's just it's masquerading as her. It's walking around like throughout the movie. The demon is taunting Evelyn to get her to kill people, and that's not the daughter. I think the daughter had this precocious interest in reaching out to her dead father. I think that's all that was. The whole I don't see why that little girl would want her mom to kill all these people. I just
Right.
think it seems more demonic to me.
Yes, definitely.
Just
Prison.
there just doesn't seem to be a motivation. It seems like that little girl wanted to talk to her dad and conjured something up. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's spelled Lorie. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. It may have been that that's the way they always had it. Like in this, I think it is spelled that way in the script, as a matter of fact. And I think that when Drew Edward Hunter, when he was drawing all those pictures, he's probably the one that put it Lorri. And
Yeah, I kind of like it that way. It's kind of cool.
I do too, because it's different.
Prism says, "Have you seen the Terror Train remake?" Nope, I haven't. That's a actual Tubi movie made by Tubi, the new Terror Train. They say it's actually pretty good. Now, back in the day, I wasn't big on like prom night and shit like that. I always much preferred Terror Train, but I'm not. I get a lot of hate for it, but I'm not the biggest Jamie Lee Curtis fan. She I've talked to a lot of people, and she's a bitch, man. She doesn't appreciate her fans. She treats people like shit. But that's all I gotta say about Jiggly Curtis. There it was, man. Just as good as always. Got to see Mountaintop Motel with Mr. Mountaintop.
Yeah, it was
I,
fun watching this with you.
yeah, I feel very good about it, man. Like I said, I checked out your channel and a few others and shit before I ever even started a channel. I seen how much fun it looked like you guys were having, so I decided to start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I've got tons that I still want to do. Like I said, I'm also wanting to do top tens of all different kinds of shit. Uh, I've done a few in the past. You can see if you check back in my some of my other work. Um, some's good and some's bad, of course. But yeah, if you're ever interested in doing any of those, man, I can definitely set it up. It'd be fun as
Okay.
fuck, I think.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm also wanting to do. I wanted to delve into some of the creepy kid shows like Who Can Kill a Child.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever actually watched that film. I know the movie, but I don't think I've ever watched it. That's
It's
an
pretty good.
Italian flick, isn't it?
Spanish.
Oh, okay. Okay. Who directed that one?
Oh my God, hold on, let me see here. Um, uh, Narciso Ibanez Serrator.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched that one.
It was made in '76. It's a really good creepy kid. Also, Devil Times Five, also known as Horrible House on the Hill.
Right. Yeah. That one's fun.
That that yeah.
Do you
Um,
like do you like Code Red DVD?
yeah.
The company?
I've got a few of them over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They put out a lot of good movies from the 70s and 80s.
Um, Speaking of Burial Ground, there's a DVD. I also got Blu-ray.
Yeah. That's a fun movie. You gotta love
Oh,
those scenes with like with the Peter Bark character
oh my
and the
mama.
mom. It's just so funny.
I, I mean, his mom's good looking and all, but that's your mom, dude.
Right, right, yeah.
Oh, here's a DVD. I don't have Blu-ray yet or 4K, but
Oh yeah. Yep, that's a classic. I love that movie.
Frightmare, the Pete Walker. Nightmare.
Right? Yeah, that's a good movie. Uh-huh. That's probably his best one, I think.
Yeah. I'm curious, what is your thoughts about Boogeyman from I think it's 81 or 82, where
Hold
you
on.
can't actually see the killer? Remember that one?
Yeah, I like that movie.
Um,
Up here.
of course, here's Sorority House Massacre. It's like the shirt I'm wearing.
I like the sequel to that movie, Sorority House Massacre 2. It's a lot of fun.
Um, great pieces of artwork from Arrow.
Yeah, there's pieces. Yeah.
Pieces is very good. Yeah, and here's some of the Fulcis that I want to get into. Also, I also wouldn't mind doing Shock. In my opinion, Bob's best movie.
Yeah, I think that movie, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's all right. I mean, I don't mind it.
There's Gates of Hell, also known as City of the Living Dead.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. Here's a Bava movie I love right here. You see this one, Bay of Blood?
Bay of Blood. Yeah, I
That's a
got two,
good
three
one.
copies of that. That is best. The very first ever, in my opinion, the very first ever slasher movie.
Yeah, well, it was very influential on Friday the 13th, those early ones, like especially in part 2.
I love what is it, the big fucking hatchet or whatever, meat cleaver on the side of the dude's fucking head right at the front door.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. Those are the best. I like that movie. It's a fun movie.
What's your thoughts on I mentioned New York Ripper earlier from Fulci. What's your thoughts on that one?
Oh, I love that one. I love it. I have the poster over here. Can you see it back there? The Vidmark cover, the VHS cover. It's right in the back.
Oh hell yeah!
It's the one where he's looming behind the buildings with the knife. It's got the girl laying on the ground. You've probably seen that artwork cover before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is such a mean spirited show, man. Those guys fucking with that girl with the toe and everything in a restaurant, and then making fun of her and taking off.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely Fulci all the way, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen Messiah of Evil?
I think I did a long time ago. I don't remember it though.
It's another good one. I'll show you the cover to it real quick. It's got a really cool cover. This is the VHS cover for it, Messiah of Evil.
Okay,
Can you see that?
cool.
It's a cool movie.
Um, I don't know. I'm thinking about in the next couple of weeks or so. I'm thinking about doing either Nightmares or Unhinged. Would you be interested in doing one of those?
Yeah, I'll get in touch with you and see. I'll have to try to make the time to do it. But yeah, I'd probably be interested in one of those for sure, or both. I mean, just
Cool.
depending on if I get the chance. I'll let you know though.
All right.
No
Yeah,
problem.
definitely keep in touch, man. And I'll
I
keep in
actually
touch
got
with
the
you as
Nightmare.
well.
Did you see the Nightmare poster back there? I have the poster.
Yeah,
You've seen it in the background of my other videos. It's behind
yeah.
this door over here. The original poster.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, that is very, very unique, man.
Hmm.
That's another one that's got a vibe to it that's unsettling, man. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Um, also, that's what I like is the ones that are unique. Like for instance, in um, Fall Break, you got the dad is the fucking nut. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or Mutilator.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. 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 That's a great one. I love the Mutilator. It's fun.
it's just got something different going on.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Let me see. Shit, I'm trying to think here. Some others. Shit. Fuck, I can't think of the name of that. Why can't I think of the name of that? Um, or like for instance, the Funnel Terror is cool. It's got a really good young cast. Final Exam, like a
Oh, I
killer with
love
no
Final
motive,
Exam. Final
no
Exam's good. I love that one.
no motive at all, just like every other serial killer. You know what I mean? You don't know who this
Right.
fucker is. He just shows up at a campus and starts wiping people out. Fuck it.
Yeah, the thing with Final Exam is it's like you said, there's no motive given at all. Whereas in a movie like Black Christmas, you feel like there's no motive. But if you watch and pay attention to the movie and listen to those phone calls, you can like piece together a backstory and kind of come to a conclusion about what the motive might be, you know. But with Final
Those are
Exam, you have no idea.
those are prank calls too. Black Christmas is without a doubt my top 3 or 5. The original Black
Oh,
Christmas.
it's an amazing movie. Yeah, I love that movie.
There's not very much blood or anything in it, but it doesn't need it.
No. Mm-mm.
It's just to
It
me,
doesn't.
it's just it has got. I mean, you talking about an atmosphere. That movie created atmosphere for horror, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's
Yeah.
all atmosphere.
Yeah.
But all right, man. I won't keep you. I'll go and let you get on with your night and all that shit. But
Have you
thanks
seen The
again.
Prowler?
Oh hell yeah.
You like The Prowler? That's another good one.
That's
Good one.
Tom Savini's favorite makeup work.
Oh yeah, because it's amazing. Yeah, that where he has the bayonet going through the top of the head, and then in the shower with the pitchfork. That stuff's amazing.
That's his personal favorite still to this day. I do believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know he did the makeup for Dawn of the Dead, and he wasn't so happy with it because it come out looking differently on camera than what it did when he was doing it. And then
He didn't have the color for the blood. Wasn't
bright
right
red,
yet.
yeah. So he changed and fixed all that shit when he made Day of the Dead. It's completely different. He made their blood darker, and he made sure that pancake makeup didn't come off as blue.
Oh yeah, because he had
So,
time in between Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead because then he went on to stuff like Maniac and The Prowler and The Burning, and in those the blood looks much better than in Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, it just looks funny. It looks pink or something.
Yeah, me and Steele have been going through. We started at Shivers, and we're doing the early Cronenberg films. We just got done with Rabbit. We're getting ready to do The Brood, and then we're going to do Scanners, which, in my opinion, is either first or second best head explosion in horror history. Right there with Maniac. I'm not sure which one's the best, but of course you seen the head explosion on my intro from Maniac.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Lots of horror in common, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you like the same era, the same type of stuff. The best stuff is from the 70s and 80s. That's the best stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a wide variety of stuff in those years, you know. It's not just gore films. You got the atmospheric movies. It's just a wide variety.
Yeah. You got, like I said, you got the Crazy Kid movies. You got you got a lot of really good anthologies. There's just so much to cover, and like I said, so much that a lot of people have never seen or heard of or given a chance. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, is just show people all these other really great films.
Right, exactly. That's good.
Yeah. If you don't have any, do you have any others that you want to point out, or?
Well, I just also mentioned while we're talking about slasher movies, My Bloody Valentine, the original, is a really good. Once they reinserted those cut scenes, it really upped that movie in my estimation.
Yeah, it's got a good story too. I mean, it's got a love triangle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got that, and you've got a good setting, and that's really good. That movie grew on me over the years. My Bloody Valentine did.
I'm curious. One of my all-time favorites, and I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but one of my all-time favorites is Humongous. What do you think of Humongous?
I like that one too. It's not a favorite, but I do like it. Yeah. And that reminds me, have you seen The Slayer?
Yes.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot. I like weird movies like that. That's another weird one. The Slayer's a weird movie, just like Mountaintop Motel and Unhinged.
Yeah. Let me see here. Damn. Yeah. There's a couple that I was going to mention. How about are you a Toby Hooper fan?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like
you gonna mention Eaten Alive?
That's a very good. That is just absolutely crazy, man. That one dude that's in Silent Rage. You know what I mean? Marilyn Burns' husband come in with their kid. In that one part, because I mean, you can tell the two of them argue all the fucking time. And at one point, the guy looks at her, and he's just like, you can just tell he just wants to fucking choke her or something.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
start having this crazy mental breakdown in that room. That's good acting. It's very weird. That Eaten Alive's a classic. I love that movie.
yeah. Do you like it better than Chainsaw or Chainsaw 2?
Um, I can't compare them. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't really look at it that way with those movies. I kind of love all those. Like just comparing Eaten Alive to Texas Chainsaw, I think they're both good at what they do because they do have differences. Like you can tell Eaten Alive is shot on that sound stage. Like it
Yeah,
has more of this weird studio feel, and the atmosphere is different to that movie. Whereas
yeah,
Texas Chainsaw is very, it's a frantic movie, so I can't really compare them. I love both of them.
yeah. Chainsaw a little dirtier, like say Maniac or Henry or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, when you talk about Hooper, don't forget about the Funhouse. The
Oh
Funhouse is
yeah.
very nostalgic to me too. I love the Funhouse. Now, I'm not so big on Poltergeist. Poltergeist to me, you can feel a lot of the Spielberg. It's a little clean for me.
Right.
Besides, I do like Beth Williams in it, but other than that,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, yeah, I've covered Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Now I'm really wanting to do Burial Ground and Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, aka Let Sleeping Corpses Lie.
Yeah, those are good ones
Because
for sure.
somehow Burial Ground has gotten to be, it's weird, but Burial Ground has gotten to be more known than Corpses.
That doesn't surprise me. Burial Ground has more. I don't know. It's more sleazy. More
Except,
just has that exploitation feel to it.
except that Bart character,
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
that stuff like that grabs people, gets their attention.
that guy is like a minor star now, still to this day. He's got his own fan club.
Hmm.
He does conventions.
Yeah.
He's known as the creepy mommy kid. Mama,
Hmm.
that's first time I seen that, I was completely blown away. I could not believe the blatant
Hmm.
incestual thing here that he had, all the way to the point to where she feels so sorry for him at the end. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? She's like, "Oh yeah, it's okay, baby. That's what you like," and then he ends up fighting on. It's like, what the hell?
Hmm.
At the
Yeah.
same time, I'm thinking, what the hell am I watching? I'm thinking this movie kicks ass.
Yeah. Yeah. But you should definitely, when you get a chance, check out the movie Messiah of Evil.
All right,
Code Red has put it out on DVD and Blu-ray, so it's available. I mean, you can watch it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure Messiah of Evil's probably on YouTube, and you can probably watch it on Tubi and stuff like that. But if you can't, you can probably get the DVD or the Blu-ray for not a bad price. But it's a really good one from the '70s if you like, because you like atmospheric movies, so I know you'd like that one.
very cool, awesome,
Yeah,
definitely will. And
yeah.
before we sign off, this is awesome editions as always. But yeah, you see my collection. I got probably 2 or 3 thousand here. It's crazy, but some of the people that I talk to, they dwarf my collection. Have a great, yeah, you have a great Halloween too, man. Yeah, Eric, thanks for bringing in Halloween with me, man. With a great ass film, man. I appreciate it a lot, and stay
No
in touch.
problem.
Stay in touch, man, and fuck it, we'll figure out something else to do.
Definitely. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a
All
nice
right.
night.
See you later.